Welcome to Trump Breaking News Network, your daily source for up-to-date news on the political scene of Donald Trump, his presidency, American politics and conspiracies. Please subscribe to receive notice of our daily updates. Also share with your friends and your social media. We encourage you to like our videos and give your comments.
This is TBNN.
More FBI-DOJ text messages reveal secret plot to undermine Trump. Jaw-dropping text message by FBI agent suggests no Trump collusion with Russia. And the hits just keep on coming. Just hours after we reported that according to the latest batch of text messages between anti-Trump FBI investigators, a secret society of folks within the DOJ and the FBI may have come together in the immediate aftermath of the 2016 election to undermine President Trump, another blockbuster text message appears to have emerged. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, the chairman of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, said in a radio interview that the FBI's top agent on the Trump-Russia investigation, Peter Strzok, sent what Johnson called a jaw-dropping text message last year that suggests he saw no evidence of Trump campaign collusion. As first reported by the Daily Caller's Chuck Ross, in an interview with Wisconsin Milwaukee radio host Jay Weber, Johnson read aloud a May 19, 2017 text that Strzok sent to Lisa Page, an FBI lawyer and his mistress. As Weber summarized, Senator Ron Johnson tells me he's discovered a text from Peter Strzok 2 days after the Mueller investigation in which he questions whether he wants to be part of it because he believes there's nothing there. No collusion. The Strzok text verbatim on joining the Mueller investigation, May 19, 2017. You and I both know the odds are nothing. If I thought it was likely, I'd be there, no question. I hesitate in part because of my gut sense and concern that there's no big there. Here's the jaw-dropping text message that Strzok wrote just 2 days after Mueller was named special counsel for the Russia investigation. You and I both know the odds are nothing. If I thought it was likely, I'd be there, no question. I hesitate in part because of my gut sense and concern that there's no big there. Senator Ron Johnson drops a bombshell on the Jay Weber show. Johnson said that the text referred to the Mueller investigation, which had kicked off 2 days earlier. Strzok joined that team, but was removed in July after the Justice Department's Inspector General discovered his anti-Trump text exchanges with Page. As the FBI's deputy counterintelligence chief, Strzok had been picked in July 2016 to oversee the investigation into possible Trump campaign collusion with the Russian government. In other words, the text message came almost 1 year after the anti-Trump FBI agent had already done preliminary work on whether there was any Trump collusion. Prior to that, he was a top investigator on the Clinton email inquiry. I think that's kind of jaw-dropping, said Johnson, a Republican, said of the Strzok text. In other words, Peter Strzok, who was the FBI Deputy Assistant Director of the Counterintelligence Division, the man who had a plan to do something because he just couldn't abide Donald Trump being president, is saying that his gut sense is that there's no big there when it comes to the Mueller special counsel investigation, Johnson explained. This particular text message was included in 400 pages of text messages exchanged between Strzok and Page. Lawmakers have started reviewing the trove of documents for evidence of anti-Trump and pro-Clinton bias as part of an ongoing investigation. Yesterday AG Jeff Sessions announced that the DOJ was also beginning an investigation into the months of missing text message that the FBI had failed to preserve. Johnson also addressed the revelation last Friday that the FBI failed to preserve 5 months' worth of text messages exchanged between Strzok and Page. A Justice Department official told Johnson's committee and 5 other congressional panels that a misconfiguration issue caused many FBI-issued mobile devices to not back up to the Bureau's servers. In a shocking disclosure late last week, the FBI said it did not have text messages for Strzok and Page for the period between December 14, 2016 and May 17, 2017, the day that Mueller was appointed. Johnson said that Congress needs to see the missing text messages because Strzok and Page were completely unguarded in their communication. So we're getting insight into exactly what is happening inside the FBI at the highest levels. And who knows who else they might implicate in terms of corruption, he said. Meanwhile, the question of just who was obstructing justice, Trump or the FBI and the DOJ, is becoming increasingly more pressing with each passing day. FBI agents discussed secret society within DOJ and FBI working to undermine Trump. Congressional investigators learned from a new batch of text messages between anti-Trump FBI investigators that a secret society of folks within the Department of Justice and the FBI may have come together in the immediate aftermath of the 2016 election to undermine President Trump, according to Representative John Ratcliffe, RTX, who has reviewed the texts. The new texts were included in a 384-page DOJ document released to congressional investigators last Friday, during which Congress was notified in the cover letter that the 5 months of text messages from December 14, 2016 to May 17, 2017 have gone missing, if only the NSA had copies. Ratcliffe was joined by Representative Trey Gowdy, RSC, to discuss the latest developments with Fox News host Martha MacCallum, when Ratcliffe said, "What we learned today in the thousands of text messages that we've reviewed that perhaps they may not have done that, checked their bias at the door. There's certainly a factual basis to question whether or not they acted on that bias. We know about this insurance policy that was referenced in trying to prevent Donald Trump from becoming president. We learned today from information that in the immediate aftermath of his election that there may have been a secret society of folks within the Department of Justice and the FBI, to include Page and Strzok, to be working against him." Rep. Gowdy deflected a question over a second special counsel, but mentioned that text about not keeping texts, and more manifest bias against President Trump all the way through the election into the transition. And finally, Gowdy said he saw a text that Director Comey was going to update the President of the United States about an investigation which would have been Obama, and may, Gowdy speculates, have been about the Trump team. Regarding the secret society, Gowdy said you have this insurance policy in spring 2016, and then the day after the election, what they really didn't want to have happen. There is a text exchange between these two FBI agents, these supposed to be fact-centric FBI agents, saying, perhaps this is the first meeting of the secret society. So I'm going to want to know what secret society you are talking about, because you're supposed to be investigating objectively the person who just won the Electoral College. So yeah, I'm going to want to know. As we have been reporting over the last 2 days, the FBI lost 5 months of text messages between anti-Trump FBI agents Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. The explanation for the gap was misconfiguration issues related to rollouts, provisioning, and software upgrades that conflicted with the FBI's collection capabilities. The missing texts conveniently span the period between December 14, 2016 and May 17, 2017. The day Robert Mueller was appointed to take over the FBI's probe of alleged Trump-Russia collusion, and during the period in which the FBI would ostensibly have been hard at work on their insurance policy against a Trump victory, and during the period in which the secret society Rep. Ratcliffe referred to would have been hard at work. A controversy also emerged following the revelation over the missing textgate, in that the DOJ's Internal Investigative Unit, the Office of the Inspector General, OIG, wrote a letter in December of last year specifically stating that they had obtained text messages from Strzok and Page covering the missing period revealed last Friday. Alas, it appears the Inspector General Michael Horowitz made this statement in error, as Attorney General Jeff Sessions said in a Monday statement that Horowitz was in fact the one who discovered the FBI's system failed to retain text messages for approximately 5 months, which was confirmed by Fox News. A Justice Department spokesperson told Fox News that the department's Office of Inspector General also does not have any text messages between the two during that time period. Not to worry, the DOJ, known for its honesty, will leave no stone unturned. DOJ begins probe of missing anti-Trump FBI texts, will leave no stone unturned. Following the not entirely surprising news at the end of last week that the FBI failed to preserve 5 months of text messages between various anti-Trump agents, Attorney General Jeff Sessions revealed today that the Department of Justice has launched a full investigation into this debacle. More than 50,000 texts were exchanged between the two FBI officials who have come under fire for exchanging anti-Trump messages during the 2016 election. The FBI has informed the Department of Justice that many FBI-provided Samsung 5 mobile devices did not capture or store text messages due to misconfiguration issues related to rollouts, provisioning, and software upgrades that conflicted with the FBI's collection capabilities. The number 2 counterintelligence official at the FBI sent 50,000 texts to his mistress on an unsecure phone while pretending to be very worried about Russian hacking attempts and compromise on Trump. But, in another comedic twist, when asked Monday whether the FBI failed to preserve text message records on similar Samsung 5-inch devices belonging to any other FBI officials during the time period, the FBI told Fox News they had no comment. In other words, according to the FBI, it was Samsung's fault thousands of text message in an especially sensitive period went missing. Incidentally, during the window of missing text messages, a lot happened. Trump took the oath of office, National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, whom Strzok interviewed, was fired, the controversial anti-Trump dossier was published, the president fired FBI Director James Comey, and Special Counsel Mueller was appointed to investigate Russian meddling and potential collusion with Trump campaign associates during the 2016 presidential election. Certainly a very convenient period of time in which all potentially incriminating text messages would suddenly disappear. The loss of records from this period is concerning because it is apparent from other records that Mr. Strzok and Ms. Page communicated frequently about the investigation, Johnson wrote in a letter to FBI Director Christopher Wray over the weekend, as we reported previously, requesting more information and questioning whether the FBI had done a thorough search on non-FBI devices belonging to Strzok and Page during that period. And it was a lot. The two agents exchanged at least 25,000 text message a year or approximately 70 text message per day. This immediately prompted some to ask just what was the logic. The number 2 counterintelligence official at the FBI sent 50,000 texts to his mistress on an unsecure phone while pretending to be very worried about Russian hacking attempts and compromise on Trump. We will leave no stone unturned to confirm with certainty why these text messages are not now available to be produced, and will use every technology available to determine whether the missing messages are recoverable from another source. If we are successful, we will update the congressional committees immediately. Sessions added that, I have spoken to the Inspector General and a review is already underway to ascertain what occurred and to determine if these records can be recovered in any other way. If any wrongdoing were to be found to have caused this gap, appropriate legal disciplinary action measures will be taken. Below is the full statement by the U.S. Attorney General, highlights ours. 6 congressional committees made a request to the Department of Justice for FBI text messages between 2 FBI employees from July 1, 2015 to July 28, 2017, which the department agreed to produce as quickly as possible. The Inspector General has been reviewing these texts based on allegations that department or FBI policies or procedures were not followed, and that certain underlying investigative decisions were based on improper considerations. The Department of Justice agreed to produce those records as quickly as possible. After reviewing the voluminous records on the FBI's servers, which included over 50,000 texts, the Inspector General discovered the FBI's system failed to retain text messages for approximately 5 months between December 14, 2016 to May 17, 2017. The department apprised the congressional committees of the missing text messages on Friday in the transmittal letter when providing the available text messages to them. I have spoken to the Inspector General and a review is already underway to ascertain what occurred and to determine if these records can be recovered in any other way. If any wrongdoing were to be found to have caused this gap, appropriate legal disciplinary action measures will be taken. We will leave no stone unturned to confirm with certainty why these text messages are not now available to be produced, and will use every technology available to determine whether the missing messages are recoverable from another source. If we are successful, we will update the congressional committees immediately. Sessions' statement suggests that contrary to earlier disclosures and speculation, the Inspector General was never in possession of the emails. An OIG spokesperson declined to comment to Fox News. The claim that 5 months of critical evidence went missing due to a technical glitch is really hard to take at face value, a source from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence told Fox News on Monday, leaving the door open for that committee to also launch a formal inquiry with the FBI. Then there is the question of why did the FBI disclose this gap only now? A source on one committee in receipt of the new text messages told Fox News it was outrageous that the FBI had not previously indicated the 5-month gap in messages existed. The source said it was incumbent on the FBI to prove that the missing texts do not constitute obstruction of congressional oversight or destruction of evidence. As a reminder, last month, the DOJ released hundreds of text messages between Strzok and Page, both of whom served briefly on Mueller's team, with Page leaving over the summer and Strzok being reassigned late last year to the FBI's Human Resources Division after the discovery of the exchanges with Page. Many of the texts revealed a clear anti-Trump and pro-Clinton bias, and included discussions of the Clinton email investigation. "We need to get to the bottom of it and find out what exactly happened," Representative Jim Jordan, Republican Ohio, said Monday on Fox News' Outnumbered Overtime. Jordan said Monday that the lapse in documents is reminiscent of the mysterious disappearance of emails from former IRS official Lois Lerner during the Obama-era IRS/Tea Party targeting scandal. Lerner's emails disappear during congressional investigations. "The Lerner thing was huge," Jordan told the Daily Caller. "My gut tells me this is probably bigger." So to summarize: IRS emails, missing, and likely deleted. Clinton emails, deleted. NSA emails, deleted. And now, thousands of FBI text messages, deleted. What a farce. Representative Mark Meadows, RNC, said the need for a second special counsel was abundantly clear now. Unreal. We've been asking for the remaining text messages between anti-Trump FBI agents, and former Mueller team members, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. The FBI now says the texts are missing, Meadows tweeted on Sunday. If it wasn't already clear we need a second special counsel, it's abundantly clear now. Unreal. We've been asking for the remaining text messages between anti-Trump FBI agents, and former Mueller team members, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. The FBI now says the texts are missing. If it wasn't already clear we need a second special counsel, it's abundantly clear now. Shortly after the news broke, Donald Trump Jr. was drawn in, tweeting the FBI/government loss of texts revelations are crazy. How often can they lose seemingly critical info before Americans realize it's all a big scam? Lerner, Clinton, FBI etc. Imagine if I tried that? Why the different standard for them? The FBI/government loss of texts revelations are crazy. How often can they lose seemingly critical info before Americans realize it's all a big scam? Lerner, Clinton, FBI etc. Imagine if I tried that? Why the different standard for them? Donald Trump Jr.
This has been the Trump Breaking News Network. Please subscribe and share to stay up to date on the latest news about our president. Be informed.